Dr. Feichtinger, thank you so much for joining us on AnewZ on Space Day here at COP29. Can I start by asking you about your organisation, the IAF? Can you explain a bit about the remit and the work that you do?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. Oh, it's my great pleasure to be here as the Executive Director of the International Astronautical Federation, a federation that has been created in 1951 already, so we have a very long history. And it was created actually at the time when there was the Cold War, when the East and the West couldn't really exchange free on high-tech areas, specifically space. And some clever people thought it might be a good idea to create a federation, a platform, which allows in a multinational and a multilateral session to meet. And that was kind of the creation of the federation. And of course, our motto since then has remained connecting all space people. We do that through our events, and the landmark event is the International Astronautical Congress that we organize now since, for 75 times already. Every year, we haven't missed out a single year. And it brings together the entire space community in a different city every year worldwide. And last year we had the great pleasure to organize and host together with the Azerbaijan Space Agency Azakosmos this International Astronautical Congress here in Baku, which was a great success. Our community, the federation itself, is based on corporate membership. So all the organizations from the worldwide space community, these are space agencies, industry, other research organizations, associations, everybody that is active in space is part of this family. We are proud today to count 563 member organizations from 81 countries as our members, so we have really a global reach, and of course we are trying to fulfill our mission to bring people together that are enthusiastic and active on space.
And for that collective mission, it appears that an increasingly bigger part of what the agencies are now focused on is assisting with this challenge of tackling climate change.
Yes, of course. I mean, the space field is very broad, from space exploration, human space flight, Earth observation, but then also climate change in the last years has gained more and more focus in the space community. We have, for instance, as a federation, together with the Norwegian Space Agency, organized the first IAF Global Space Conference on Climate Change in 2023 in Oslo, Norway, where we've brought together the space community and also the non-space community, politicians, decision makers, but also the media and the general public, in order to demonstrate that space technology can really make a difference in climate action. Space is a very efficient toolbox for climate action, and I think this needs to be communicated more broad, because only from space can you really get this perfect vision of what's going on on the Earth without borders.
And what are we discovering? What is this data that's being collected really telling us about the scale and nature of climate change?
Well, I think one needs to distinguish here two parts. One thing is, of course, the long-term tendency. Only with satellite data that provide information and data over a long time period can you really, and on a global scale, can you really define and make the point that there are changes really going on and that they are real and they are not fictitious. That is the one aspect. The other aspect is, of course, the immediate support that space data can provide to vulnerable communities that are suffering from immediate events, from floods, from droughts, from any other hurricanes or whatever. This is important, but important is not only to provide this data, but it is even more important to make usable information out of this data and to train those who need this information in the right way that they can use it when they need it.
And how important are events like COP29? You're here, you've been working with colleagues, bringing, as you say, different space agencies together. How crucial is this event?
Well, we see it actually with our International Astronautical Congress. A few years ago, when we had the COVID crisis, many people were saying this is the end of in-person meetings. I think what we have seen also, what came after COVID, is telling us exactly the opposite. People need to meet face to face. They need to have this personal engagement and this direct contact in order to really understand each other better, in order to set up sensible partnerships and cooperation. And in that sense, it is important, of course, that a conference like COP is organized on an annual basis to bring together all the stakeholders, those who are suffering, those who can provide solutions. Space community is a very small but a very important part of this. Politicians who need to make the decision, the right decisions for humankind, but also financial institutions and the civil society and the media, of course, as well. Because the general public, of course, needs to know where we stand, where we go, and what it will cost us in order to save.
Dr. Feichtinger, thank you so much for joining us on AnewZ.
Thank you very much.